Hello, everybody. This is Big Mike. Welcome to the Big Mike Rant. Today, I want to talk to you about taxes a little bit. And usually I write out these manifestos that come out, pages and pages and pages. Well, this isn't like that. For those of you that have a 3-minute attention span, just kidding. Uh, this shouldn't take very long. And all I need for you to do is to listen and pass this word along, so maybe we can get something going on this, because the politicians are not listening to you. They don't care what you think unless you speak with voices of hundreds of millions of people. And the reason they don't care what you think is because you don't have $20 million in your pocket to get their attention. The only way you're ever going to get their attention is by telling them, that they work for you. You always hear politicians talking radically about how they want to help the American people and about how they want things to be better for us and they want to make things better in the society, and then they sit on their butt and they don't do anything. They pass this nothing legislation that says, 38 people can have a tax break, and they call that a targeted tax cut. Or they want to beat their chest and say how this, everybody's been talking about these Bush era tax cuts and how they're, oh God, they're $400 million. And if you go back and you look at what the actual amount of money is to the individual person, which is who they ought to be worried about, not this mythical, hundreds of millions of dollars in tax cuts they worry about. They roll everything up to the final number to be able to say big numbers. But who they ought to be worried about is the individual taxpayer. And they don't worry about the individual taxpayer. They don't care what you, the individual taxpayer, have to say. And the reason why they don't care, it's pretty simple. You don't have $20 million in your pocket to get their attention. If you did, then you could probably tell them what was on your mind. But it don't take a genius with a Harvard law degree and $300 million in the bank to figure it out. There's too many taxes. So here's the thing. If you're a politician and you want to radically change the life of the American person, the singular American person, and you want to make things better for all of us as a result of that, you want to lower taxes? Pretty easy. We need to get rid of the stupid infrastructure you got in place now. There's two problems. One is that it fills a building the size of the Empire State Building is full of the tax code, and it's got so many holes in it you could drive trucks through it. And there's an infrastructure built up around it, around collection, defense, and lawsuits and tax court and attorneys and tax advisors and everything else. There's $100 billion a year, probably more, earned in defense of a tax code that can't be understood. It's nuts. So you want to change my life and the singular. When I say the American person, I'm talking about my or me or you. I'm talking about the 300 million people that live in this country individually, including them, but they don't get it because they make so much money it doesn't matter. But you want to change my life? Here you go. Here's what you should do. Make my life easier. Make it better. The same way that I want it to be better, by doing one radical thing. Get the hell out of my paycheck. That's the problem. You don't get that. You guys have figured out ways to tax and tax and tax and tax and come up with new ways to collect tax. So many inventive ways that we are now literally taxed from the moment we're born, or even before. You're taxed before you're born, and you're taxed clear up through your death and beyond it with your estate tax. And you come up with new ways to apply taxes to new things every day. The latest iteration of this goofy philosophy is that you want to give a tax break to only those people who can prove that they have a right to work here because they have a Social Security number. Give me a break. That isn't going to work any more than your enterprise tax zones did, because it doesn't represent enough of the American people to make life any different. The time when we had, a population that can be measured in maybe tens of millions, was the income tax seemed like the right idea. Now that we have, 300 plus million people, and you have whole industries and whole areas of the country, Washington, D.C. is full of lawyers. Because of the tax code. This whole iteration of new taxes and manipulation of the tax code philosophy, it's got to go. It's got to go away. It's stupid. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked for a lot of years. Tax breaks in general are a stupid idea. When you say you're going to give a tax break to the American person, you're going to give your Bush era tax cuts. That's a good example where they said the politicians tell you it's hundreds of millions of dollars, but it is not. Go look at your paycheck. When's the last time you had $100 million in it? That tax break is measured on the individual level. And then they talk about it on the national level like that's supposed to mean something to you and me. Oh, they gave me $9 back. What's that? 2 gallons of gas? 3 gallons of gas? Shut up. That's not right. You know, it's doublespeak. It's political gobbledygook. It doesn't mean anything. They don't do any, the tax cuts don't do any good at all. They may sound pretty in speeches, but it's never been proven ever that a tax break that's given to the average Joe by one of these famous political targeted tax cut speeches that you hear from everybody and their brother, that it's never been proven that they've worked in any substantial way to help the average American once they've spent their tax check. How long did it take for the American people, and what was the bump we got from the $600 that Bush gave us back on our income taxes? Oh, excuse me. He didn't give it back to us. It was ours to begin with. And then it took them 15 months and a order of Congress for him to give back our own money. How long did that $600 last you? You know, if you're anything like me or like a lot of people, you just paid bills with it and moved on. It wasn't a big deal. Here's a better idea. Make everybody, 100% of everybody, first get rid of this stupid income tax system you got. It doesn't work. There's a lot of states that don't have income tax, and a lot of countries around the world that don't have income taxes, and they do just fine without it. But make everybody that operates in your country pay taxes fairly, and make certain that every income, no matter how it's earned, pays taxes or is subject to taxation. Make gangbangers that sell drugs on the street corners every day pay taxes. Make illegal aliens pay their taxes. Make people who get paid cash pay taxes. If the people who get paid cash pay taxes, there's no such thing as the underground economy. Wow. Tax the 40 to 45% of all Americans who never pay a dime of income tax, yet somehow they didn't pay a dime, but they get a tax refund check anyway. Make criminals pay taxes. Make the criminal organizations pay taxes. Tax every hooker, pimp, burglar, drug buyer, drug seller, and everyone who buys pervert pornography. Tax them all and make them feel my pain. The way it is right now, virtually none of the people, none of the examples I've cited pay income taxes. Yet, they can live a lavish lifestyle in a mansion with gold-plated guns and gold-plated cars. And then guess who supports them by paying their share of the taxes and then paying for them when they get incarcerated because, most of those numbnuts, they get caught. That's right. The average American everybody talks about, that's who. And I'm one of those people, and I'm pretty sick of it. I shouldn't have to support them. And I wouldn't have to if your tax system made sense, and it doesn't. The problem as I see it is that fundamentally the tax and tax break equation is all wrong because it's backwards. Instead of applying a tax rate to income, then allowing the exclusions and loopholes and tax breaks and enterprise zones that eat the heart out of it, and then thinking of complicated and insane ways to give me a tax break, just get to work. Just do some work. Just get off your butt. Just put your butt on the line like Americans do every day of the week and develop strategies that tax spending instead of income. You call it whatever you want. Call it the sales tax. I mean, I don't care what you name it. Steve Forbes a few years ago had a name for it. I think he called it a flat tax. And what I'm proposing is well beyond the fat tax. I'm just saying if you tax spending, I get all of my money from my employer. If I'm supposed to get $1,000, I get $1,000. But I decide what I spend my money on, and you always get your cut from everybody. You cannot escape paying taxes with this strategy. Criminals, gangbangers, drug dealers, illegal aliens, all those folks, they have to eat, don't they? Good. When they buy food or they eat a lavish dinner, collect a tax. When a rich guy has a big pool built, tax it. When a supermodel has plastic surgery, spend $100,000 getting a better looking butt, that's right, tax it. Even if I'm here illegal and I don't have a single piece of legal ID at all, and I work for cash, and you don't even know I exist, I still buy groceries and electricity and gasoline and alcohol and toilet paper and everything else, and I'm still spending money, ain't I? Tax the tax if you want to, but do it so that everyone is treated equally under the law, and I'm not the tax discriminated person, and I'm not discriminated against because I choose to be. See, this is the problem. The American taxpayer, the person that does have an above ground job, that goes to work every day, that puts their butt on the line for the rest of everybody else. This includes soldiers, sailors, Marines, people that work at libraries, cops, firemen, dudes that work on computers, anybody. All of those folks choose to do it legally, and they are tax discriminated against. That should be illegal, and we have to pay for everybody else because we choose to be tax abiding, because we choose to be law abiding. That's bull crap. It just ticks me off. Tax every good and tax every service without exception at an equitable rate. I don't care if it's 0.001%. Everybody should pay it, no matter what it is. And then we can stop having this idiotic argument about who is right. Because our problem is not that I need a tax break. Let me tell you about it. I don't need $2.50 in my paycheck every week. The problem is not that I need a tax break. The problem is that not all of us pay taxes. Fix that, and you're a long way toward fixing the problem. Thanks for watching my rant, everybody. Let me know what you think. You can see me online at bigmikerant.blogspot.com. Y'all have a good day.